What's going on, everybody? John with ACTION-FLIX.com. I am back. Took some time off after Deadpool and Wolverine because I just needed to recharge the batteries. Plus, I've been working a lot, and I'm not going to lie, when I get home, I am tired. Last week, I had my daughter, so I was spending time with her. So this week, I'm daughterless. But I've still been working. So I figured after I did the Action Elite podcast last night. We did the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which I always screw up when I say the name, Ungentlemanly Warfare. And we basically just gloated over it because we all pretty much loved it and thought it was a stupendous movie. And, it was a kick ass World War II Guy Ritchie movie. So I figured tonight I would return. So here's the thing with the Action Fix podcast. I've been doing a lot of tinkering, if you will. One, I never know when I'm going to go on because, like I said, my schedule is all screwed up. Like I said, between jobs and children and stuff like that. So I have to get a set schedule. I understand that. So the way people know when I'm on and stuff like that. So I have to figure that out. But at the same time, I've been doing I've been blending like the weekly intel with trailer talk. And so I've been kind of like shooting from the hip, if you will. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So like this Action Fix podcast episode is trailer talk. So I'm just going to do trailer talk. Nothing else. No weekly intel, nothing else. We're just going to talk about the trailers that I put on for this installment. And we got 4 of them, 4 pretty damn good ones to view and partake in. And I'm not going to lie, I'm excited for pretty much all of them for different reasons. One kind of flew under my radar, Rebel Ridge, if you know about that one. It's the Netflix movie that stars Aaron Pierre as well as Don Johnson, the great Don Johnson. I remember when it was first announced. I actually, if you look it up on my website, I did the initial news post for it when John Boyega was attached to star, and we all know him from the Star Wars trilogy films. Then he dropped out, and then kind of I forgot about it. I'm not gonna lie. Well, they released the trailer this yesterday, I believe, and Aaron Pierre took over the role that John was going to do, and it looks pretty damn good. It looks it's got a First Blood vibe going to it. I put that in my post, like you got an ex-Marine, although we all know John J. Rambo was not a Marine, he was in the Army, but he is an ex-Marine who takes on a corrupt sheriff and his small town of cops, crooked cops. Now in First Blood, I know the cops under Brian. Well, Brian Dennehy, he wasn't crooked. He was just, he just gave John Rambo a hard time, and then his deputies followed suit. Well, here they're crooked. Don Johnson's crooked. The whole police force, I guess, is crooked, and they pretty much pick a fight with the wrong man. But we'll get into that in a couple minutes. So yeah, so this is going to be trailer talk. So today we're just talking trailers. Then I'm going to do a weekly intel where I'm going to talk about news and stuff like that. No trailers. So that way everybody knows, like when you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see the different brands. You got the Action Fix podcast, of course, then you got the exclusive interviews that I do. And then I got the weekly intel, the trailer talk, which is what I'm doing right now. And then, of course, there's Anatomy of Action Design, which I've already done one episode with the great Bren Foster. And again, that's harder to do because I got to line up talent to be on the show. And I'm trying to do that as we speak. Then I have Center of the Ring, which is a versus show where I put 2 movies against each other. We did Roadhouse against the new Roadhouse against 1989's classic Patrick Swayze Roadhouse, and I'm yet to do another episode of that. But again, like I said, life happens, and certain things. I'm still doing the website every day as much as I can, but I'm working and all kinds of good stuff. You notice I got a new shirt. I got Godzilla. I got my first. I did not own a Godzilla shirt. I rectified that, and not only is it Godzilla, it's Godzilla Final Wars. We all know that wonderful movie that ended that phase of Godzilla films, and it was kind of like a bombastic blend of the Matrix and Godzilla and all kinds, and the kitchen sink thrown in, and Don Frye, the MMA champion, was starring in it too. Why not? Why the hell not? One of my favorites. Godzilla pretty much takes on all of his enemies from the previous films, including the Godzilla from the 1990s American version, which he pretty much just kicked his ass in 2 seconds, which was kind of funny. It's kind of like Toho saying, "Yeah, you guys screwed up on that." I liked it. I mean, for what it wasn't a Godzilla movie. It was like a giant lizard movie, but it wasn't Godzilla. I mean, they called it Godzilla, but it wasn't Godzilla. Like this is Godzilla. And I got my hat back. Check it out. I got Blade and Wolverine back. Y'all know I announced when I went to New Hampshire with my daughter. Came back. And good old Boston Logan International Import. You guys didn't disappoint me. I think one of you mother effers stole my hat, and because it didn't come out of the going through the X-ray machine and everything. And I tried to get that lady's attention, and F you, lady, and I gave you a bad review, but I got a discount on it, so I didn't even have to pay that much for it. I paid like $5 for a new hat. So there you go. I got my hat back. Got my hat back. I got new Godzilla. I got I got all kinds of good stuff. I got my Punisher chain that I got for Christmas last year for my daughter. So I got that, hiding in underneath my shirt, but I'll display it next to Godzilla. All right, so let's get started. So that way this episode isn't 8 hours long like it usually is. So, and if anybody's out there watching and wants to comment on these films with moi, you most certainly can. All right, so I got to get first things first, I got to jock up. You should always know when I do my ACTION-FLIX podcast, I got to do a little, one of the best tacking up scenes ever in action cinema history, followed by, yes, the greatest manly handshake heard throughout the world. And of course, now I was doing Jean-Claude Van Damme, but now I'm like doing a little kung fu fighting with Scott Adkins, because why the hell not, people? All right, so let's get going here. I'm going to put on my actionflix.com. There it is. Oh, we start with Rebel Ridge. Then we got Hounds of War. So let's go through these a little bit before I show the trailer. So I talked a little bit about Rebel Ridge. Oh, we got one called War Chief too. That's a little lesser known movie. It looked all right from the trailer. Oh, and then we got Paradox Effect. Yeah, so we got a lot of trailers actually, but I'm only going to do 4 today. So I'm not going to do all of these trailers because then it's going to be 8 hours long. So we got Tiger Style Media, big thing. They got those 4 movies coming out, those throwback style, old school martial arts, bone crunching epics. The first ones are Art of 8 Limbs, which stars Ludi Lin from the Mortal Kombat's reboot movie. He played Liu Kang, as well as like Ron Smornberg from the Triple Threat movie. Then we got The Lockdown with Leo Howard, which is not a known martial arts talent. If you remember G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, when they did the flashback when Snake Eyes was a kid, he was the kid, Leo Howard. He had that awesome fight scene with the kid. I don't know who he was. I'm sorry. I didn't do my due diligence and check out who that child actor was that was, throwing hands and feet with him. But Leo Howard was in that flashback scene, and he's an accomplished martial artist. He has not done a lot in the ways of action cinema, but now with The Lockdown, he stars with Katie Lutz, which is one of my favorites. We all know Katie from DC's Legends of Tomorrow, the CW show, where she kicked a lot of butt on that one. So they play brother and sister, and I'm excited because Leo Howard is pretty much headlining it with Katie, and we're get to see his fighting on screen because he hasn't really done a legit martial arts action film. So here's what we got. So we got Rebel Ridge, the Netflix film with Aaron Pierre and Don Johnson. And then we got Hounds of War, which is from the great director Isaac Florentine, who is hooking up with Frank Grillo in a marvelous looking action thriller about a man who leads a spec ops unit that totally gets annihilated. And of course, he goes on a kill mission of revenge to take out the people responsible. And of course, we have the Tiger Style Media films, Art of 8 Limbs and The Lockdown. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go right down the line. So we're going to do Rebel Ridge first. There's my initial post for it. And there we go. Aaron Pierre goes full-on first blood against Don Johnson in a trailer for Netflix's latest action thriller. And we all know that Netflix has been really hit and miss when it comes in terms of their action movies. I mean, of course, we have the Extraction movies, which are great. I like a lot of the Netflix action movies, okay? I do. I know they get a bad rap from a lot of people out there. I think it's fun now to just make fun of a lot of them. Interceptor was not a great movie with Elsa Pataki, Mrs. Chris Hemsworth. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't like the worst movie I saw, but it just didn't leave a lasting impression on me, and I have not seen it since the first time I saw it to review it. Then we had Trigger Warning, which starred Jessica Alba. That was the latest one that came out. Which again, not a bad film, just not one where you're just like, yeah, I gotta watch this 1,000 times. I want to buy it on 4K and Blu-ray and digital and all that. She was good at it. Let me, Jessica Alba, she looked great, as always, and she did the work. She did the Filipino martial arts, the knife fighting, and everything. But again, the finale was kind of like it wasn't that great, and so it is what it is. But now we have Rebel Ridge. This one looks promising, though. Let me tell you. Okay, all right. So of course Don Johnson is awesome, in anything that he does, and playing a crooked sheriff, sign me up. I mean, it just looks like the two of these guys are going to have some meaty scenes together. All right, so let me blow it up first because, of course, that way maybe I won't get dinged by YouTube when I show these. All right, so we're going to check out Rebel Ridge first. Let's read the synopsis, shall we? All right, it says Terry Richmond, played by Aaron Pierre, enters the town of Shelby Springs on a simple but urgent mission. Post bail for his cousin and save him from imminent danger. But when Terry's life savings is unjustly seized by law enforcement, he's forced to go head-to-head with local police chief Sandy Byrne, played by Don Johnson, and his combat-ready officers. I like how they say combat-ready. Not only are the officers, but these guys are probably like old school, like ex-spec ops soldiers, which makes it more interesting, everybody. Terry finds an unlikely ally in court clerk Summer McBride, played by Anna Sophia Robb. Of course, she's good looking, because everybody's got to be good looking. And the two become ensnared in a deep-rooted conspiracy within the remote township. As the stakes turn deadly, Terry must call upon his mysterious background to break the department's hold on the community, bring justice to his own family, and protect Summer in the process. And we all know what his past is because he's an ex-Marine, and obviously this dude knows what he's doing when it comes to like kicking that ass. All right, so here we go. Here's the trailer for Rebel Ridge.
I need to report a crime.
And this was cash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you describe access with?
Big guy. Must weigh 250.
We're gonna hold on to this money.
Now, I'm not really familiar with Aaron
his badge
Pierre,
number,
but look,
but his last name is
solid
Marston.
actor.
You're gonna need to leave.
Next suspect number 2.
Hey, Mike, I'm posting bail. You stay low, all right?
You can fight for the money, but that'll take you most of a year and cost you twice what you're owed.
And it's legal?
It's the law.
May I at least see my cousin?
You can fuck right
I
off.
would love to, sir, just as soon as I get my money back.
You do not stand in my station in front of my officers and set terms.
It's like all
You
I
need
want to
to
see
be
is my
very,
cousin. Like,
very
it's got that first blood vibe, which like all they wanted was something to eat.
What are we looking at?
I think he's Marine Corps Martial Arts MCMAP.
Yeah, he's martial arts trained. Of course he is.
Whatever you
He has to
decide
be
to do,
because they're combat
you
ready
do it
officers.
damn far from here. You enter this town again, so go another route.
It's time for another chapter.
Something's up. Chief is willing to kill to keep us from finding out.
You ain't ever gonna be safe.
So we got heavy drama
Might
with
end up on top
breakneck
of the line,
action.
but
So
they don't get any more outs.
Suspect is armed. He goes down.
and
He does not get back up.
It's gotten out of hand. People getting hurt now. So I was thinking, what if we just walk away?
Well, now you're starting to talk.
But I was like, nah.
I like that. That is nice. All right, so there we go. There's Rebel Ridge, everybody. I like that. What if we just walk away? And then Todd Johnson's like, then I was like, nah. He's like, I'm not walking away. Like, go to hell. All right, so yeah, there we go. Rebel Ridge, everybody. That is from Netflix. The fine people over at Netflix, you know them. They hit and miss. Rebel Moon came out with the director's cuts, and I hear from everybody that it's just more of, it's violence and sex. So I mean, it's like, do I need sex? I mean, personally in my life, but at the same time, I don't need to watch. I mean, Sophia Patella, yeah, seeing her naked, yeah, okay. But anyways, the director's cuts came out of both of those movies, and everybody just says they're basically just, they're just extended scenes, and things are shifted a little bit, and then there's sex and violence, so now you got the blood and guts and everything. All right, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Hounds of War. Yes, everybody, the Hounds of War. Oh God, I'm so excited for this one. Can I tell you? Yes. So we know Frank Grillo. Frank Grillo is a man that has starred in many movies, a bunch. So let's check out the trailer for this one. So I'll do the trailer first, and then we will talk about the synopsis and all that good stuff. All right, so here's the trailer for Hounds of War, starring Frank Grillo, from the action maestro himself, Isaac Florentine. Of course, we all know him from the Undisputed series with Scott Adkins, as well as many other movies that he's done in the past. Here we go. Let's watch the bloodletting, everybody.
Hey, look who made it.
Robert
I'm gonna do
Patrick.
this one more time.
Yes.
And then we're done.
You got Mark Strange, the great martial artist,
All right, boys.
as part of his team, but unfortunately we know he dies because of Sorry, Mark, you don't make it out of this
War,
one.
gentlemen. Our job is to hunt down the most powerful warlord in Libya.
Like that.
40 feet underground lies his bunker.
We know Robert's bad from the trailer.
The target is gone.
It's a trap.
We got booms, bullets, and brutality.
Why are you here?
Rona Mitra,
Revenge.
gotta love Rona Mitra. Doomsday Strikes Back,
Supposed to be buried.
The Last Ship,
Solve it.
and Frank Grillo
Find me right or
on a
war.
kill mission. This could be better. I love how they played the classic.
I'm gonna break the system.
I like how he's doing some John Wick with the book. We all know John Wick chapter 3, I believe it was with the book.
A disgruntled former employee.
Find him! What the hell are they doing?
So who the hell are you?
I'm just a man making a stand for his country.
There you go. Embedded on my own site, as a matter of fact. So that's from my website. All right, so let's take a look at the plot. The plot's pretty standard, pretty simple stuff, but who cares because it's Frank Grillo kicking ass. Frank Grillo, Robert Patrick, and Rona Mitra star in Hounds of War, about the best military mercenaries money combined, known as the Hounds. They are sent on a final mission by the creator, a carefully planned trap set to destroy them. So here's some images from it. So we got, oh yeah, and these are some good ones. I love that one. That's a good shot of Mr. Grillo, taking aim. Then we got the lovely Rona getting out of her vehicle. Then we got more shots of mercenaries. Yes. So then we got more. Here's some more. So we got Frank again leading his team. Then Frank with Rona. And then a behind the scenes shot of the great Isaac Florentine. That is Isaac Florentine doing, filming, directing Frank Grillo. I'm sorry. I got a little lost there for a second. But yeah, so there's a behind the scenes shot, if you will. So yeah. So, and then the key art, which is basically the same as what they had released previously, like last year and stuff like that. So yeah, so you got Frank Grillo. He's the leader of an elite team of mercenaries or private contractors or whatever the case. Robert Patrick's their leader, but of course he screws the pooch, and they all get killed. And then Frank Grillo gets really, really mad and proceeds to take out everybody and the kitchen sink to get justice done. So what more can you say about Hounds of War? This one hits on September 20th. It hits digital. So hopefully, I got the email from this one. So maybe they'll offer interviews, and maybe I'll definitely get a screener for it, which I'm super, man, because usually when they send me like the initial trailer and all the artwork and press work and everything for it, then they're like, hey, you want to watch it? And I'm like, of course I do. But of course, if I like it, I support it and I buy it myself. Don't worry. I support independent action cinema, as well as the film industry and everything. All right, so yeah, so there you go. What more can you say about Frank Grillo? He's a mercenary and he's doing bullets and brutality. I mean, that's probably my headline for my review. It's like Frank Grillo does bullets and brutality, and director Isaac Florentine's no holds barred action thriller. Because I'm sure I'll like it. Because this is one of those movies that you pretty much know what you're getting into when you go to see it or go to watch it. It's like, it's not going to break into a musical, I'm pretty sure. It's not going to be a comedy, and it's not going to be science fiction. So it's pretty much a hardcore, Black Ops action thriller with Frank Grillo leading the charge and doing Frank Grillo things, as we all love him to do. And I'm still waiting. I've had several opportunities to interview Frank Grillo. And Frank, if you're ever watching, which I'm sure you're not, but I would love to chat with you because I'm a fan. I've been a fan of yours for a really long time, and I love your movies. I mean, I just got Lights Out on DVD. Where is it at? Hang on. Here, I'll show you, Frank. So I support it. Like I said, Lights Out, there it is, the DVD, of course. There you go. Scott Adkins is also in it. So yeah, so I love me a Frank Grillo movie. So I would love to talk to the man. And then you put your request in, and then they deny you because I don't know if I'm not big enough or what. I could interview Dolph Lundgren, and Scott Adkins and Don the Dragon Wilson and Bren Foster. It's like I'm like, come on, Frank, come on the show. Let's chat, shall we? And talk all kinds of good stuff. All right, so that's the second trailer. Then, of course, first of all, I'm going to show the sizzle trailer. Tiger Style Media. This is a new production company under Paramount and Republic Pictures that they last week they released all these posters and a sizzle reel for there's 4 upcoming movies, and 2 they're going to be double features released in a limited theatrical run. Of course, it's going to be nowhere near where I am, so I'm going to have to wait for these to hit digital unless somebody offers me screeners, which again I will support. But yeah, so we got the extended trailers for the Tiger Style Media. But before we do that, I'm gonna show the sizzle reel for these movies. So they released like a real fast trailer that showcases all of the 4 films. Okay, and so let's check that out first, and then we will go from there. All right, so this is the sizzle reel that Tiger Style Media, the new it's kind of like, I want to say like Canon and PM, that type of thing, where it's like old school throwback stuff you'd see on the video shelves back in the day. Every Tuesday was new release day, where I'd run to the video store and get my latest action movies on. First it was video cassette, and of course DVDs took over, and then Blu-rays, and then video stores are no more. So it's like you got to find your physical media on the internet. It's not cheap, people. I mean, physical media is expensive nowadays. But it is because there are always these like limited collector's editions, steelbooks, and this and that, and it's like they cost like $80 now. It's like back when the VHS titles were coming out, and they were like $100 a pop. But I digress. All right, so yeah, so that's what we're talking about. So let's check out the sizzle reel for the upcoming slate from Tiger Style Media. We got The Art of 8 Limbs, Lockdown, which are the first 2 that are coming out. And then we got Lady Scorpions.
So we keep fighting.
So you got like this is old school kick-ass martial arts cinema with starring world-class legit fighters like Leo Howard, and Ludi Lin, and so you got all these folks are doing their own stunts.
Get a cigar. We're gonna have fun today.
So you got like Jeff Fahey, and then you got Michael Biehn. Mark Strange.
She's never gonna stop.
Hopefully Mark Strange lives in this like on the war.
If we want to survive,
3, 2,
we need to fight together.
1.
Come on!
I would hate to get on your bad side.
So there you go. That was the sizzle reel for the movie. Republican Pictures, courtesy of Paramount, is the ones that are putting out. So we got Art of Eight Limbs in the Lockdown, and Lady Scorpions and Kung Fu Games. So Art of Eight Limbs in the Lockdown are going to release double feature theatrically in theaters August 16th. And then followed by Lady Scorpions and Kung Fu Games, which will be on August 23rd. Then they all hit digital. So Art of Eight Limbs is on August 20th. The Lockdown is the 27th. So that's this month. And then Lady Scorpions and Kung Fu Games are in September, and September 3rd and September 10th, respectively. And then you could get all 4 films in a bundle starting on September 10th. So what do I do? Do I wait to get the bundle? I mean, would it be cheaper? All right. So there you go. You got the artwork for Art of Eight Limbs right here. And then you got the Lockdown. There's Michael Biehn, Katie Lutz, Leo Howard in the background. You got Lady Scorpions, which stars the great Cynthia Rothrock. Yes, always. I love how she's getting back in the game. And then Kung Fu Games. So there you go. So that is the sizzle reel for all 4 movies. So it was like a real fast, here we go kind of thing. But then now today, they released extended trailers for both the movies that are coming out this month, which is Art of Eight Limbs with Ludi Lin, and then Lockdown with Katie Lutz and Leo Howard. So that's what we're going to watch now. So, yes, everybody, get excited. All right, so let's do this. There we go. All right, that's what I wanted. All right. So there's a shot of Katie delivering a nice-looking uppercut to some unfortunate individual in the ring. All right, so there you go. There's the artwork for both of them right there. So you got the Art of Eight Limbs and the Lockdown. And I love the artwork. So, we were complaining last night a little bit. I brought up, the crappy artwork that you see in posters. It's like Photoshop bull or BS, floating hens, Owen Frill from the Actual League called them. And so I love how they're putting effort into these, key art or posters or one sheets, whatever you want to call them. They look good. They look like what you used to get back in the day when these movies came on VHS and DVD before they were like, hey, let's save $1 and make them look like utter crap. I'm sorry, this is what it is. All right, so there's Art of Eight Limbs. Let's read the synopsis, shall we? All right, so the Art of Eight Limbs. In this action-packed thriller from a producer of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Ludi Lin, Mortal Kombat, and Power Rangers, stars as a CIA data analyst and part-time kickboxer. Is there any other kind? Sent on a mission in Myanmar, he must infiltrate a martial arts tournament that serves as a cover, because of course it does, for an arms dealer auctioning VX nerve gas. His objective is deliver a critical detection device to allies. However, as the mission spirals out of control, he is forced to confront the world's most ruthless fighters, standing as the last line of defense against a time-ticking global threat. So, listen, this is not like it's not rocket science. These plots are, this is what used to happen in the 90s, when underground tournaments. And then the heroes had to go undercover in the underground tournament and kick people's asses, on their way to like thwarting the main criminal's empire. So it's the same thing. Yeah, but who cares? I mean, it's like when you watch the trailer, you're going to be like, you know what? It could be about Ludi Lin opening a Flora boutique, and I would still watch it if if it has the action. All right, so here's Art of Eight Limbs, courtesy of Paramount Movies, Tiger Style Media, and Republic Pictures.
This is Tiha, a major arms dealer.
Is there any other kind?
He also runs an elite martial arts academy. Each year, he holds an exclusive tournament. Tiha is in possession of the VX nerve gas.
Bloodsport, everybody.
He plans to use the tournament as a cover for an auction. This is what we'd like you to bring in.
And we'll just watch.
It can automatically detect trace amounts of chemical weapons.
We'd like you to deliver that to our contact at the Academy.
You're gonna fly me halfway around the world to a legendary martial arts tournament.
Yes.
To fight?
That's the mission.
There you go.
Welcome.
I can't lay it out
to the
simpler.
Golden Tiger Tournament of 8 Limbs.
I mean, I expect to hear the Mortal Kombat theme for Christ's sake.
We look forward to seeing you fight.
I mean, I'm a martial arts fan.
Lives are on
I
the
do
line
martial
here.
arts. I'm like, I'm sold. Let's watch.
I need your help, man. I would hate to get on your bad side.
This is not going to plan. Langley wants to extract you.
Nicholas Hammond from The Amazing Spider-Man. How awesome is that? He's still alive, everybody.
What if I'm caught?
Don't be.
Sorry. Well, yeah, Nicholas. If you know who Nicholas Hammond is, you're as old as I am. That's all I gotta say. Because he was in the original The Amazing Spider-Man TV show, which didn't have licensing for any other villains, so he fought like regular like bad guys, like bank robbers and stuff like that, because they couldn't afford like Sandman and Green Goblin and that stuff. So. Okay, I digress though. All right, yeah. So I mean, when I saw he was in it, I'm like, yeah, sign me up. All right. So again, here's the plot: is not he plays a CIA data analyst and kickboxer. Of course, he's and he's really good, obviously, because he's not just a kickboxer. He's a really good kickboxer. And this guy just happens to be wanting to sell VX gas, but he also runs an underground. Well, he runs a martial arts academy, and then every year he hosts a underground martial arts fighting tournament, a la Bloodsports. It's like, come on, I could have thought of this plot like in my sleep. But who cares? That's what I'm saying. It's not a bad thing. I don't want to see. I make fun of it, but I'm allowed to because I've been watching these movies, for years, for decades. So I'm allowed to make fun of them because I still like them, and I'm still gonna watch, and I'm still gonna probably give it at least a 3.5, because it looks good. I mean, the acting is what it is, and Ludi Lin, like I said, he was in the Mortal Kombat movie, but he was Liu Kang. He got to fight, but it was like a bunch of characters. It was an ensemble. So now he's in his own movie. Good for you, Ludi. Good for you. All right, so let's go to the next one. The Lockdown. Now, this one is going to be the double feature with Art of Eight Limbs, which is going to be released theatrically August 16th, once again, probably in New York City and Los Angeles and Boston, which kind of sucks. If I lived in New Hampshire, I'd probably be able to go to Boston and see these on the big screen. But it stars Katie Lutz, like I said, Leo Howard, which, again, I'm excited for because, he's a good martial artist. I know who he is, and I've seen him do his thing. Like I said, he really hasn't had a martial arts film career, which hopefully now, with doing this movie, because he's a young guy, he's probably in his late 20s, early 30s, if that, and Katie looks phenomenal. And Michael Biehn, is Michael Biehn. He just has to show up in the movie, and you're just like, it's Reese or it's Hicks. It's like, Michael, so another man I would love to interview, by the way. All right, so let's read the synopsis for this one, everyone, because you're going to have to really pay attention. I'm kidding. In this action-packed thriller from a producer of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they want to stress that Katie Lutz from DC's Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash, and Leo Howard from Kickin' It. Yeah, the Kickin' It was like a Nickelodeon show, but it was like one of them dumb kids shows. No offense. And G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra star as siblings Charlie and Jack, who are trapped in, again, Myanmar. So I sense a pattern here with these movies. It's the toughest prison in the country, and accused of a crime they didn't commit. Well, that sucks. Forced into forced into televised fights where inmates battle for the chance to escape death row. Hello, how many times have you seen that? They face off against the deadliest opponents where each match could be their last. Charlie and Jack must work together, their bond tested in a high-stakes game where only the strongest can win their way out. So again, we're not going to win an Academy Award, everybody. It's not going to happen. But who cares? It's fine. It's okay. Because it's got ass kicking in it. Let's watch.
We go live in 10.
Welcome to Death Row. The only way to live a life is as a champion.
I want to make you an offer. If you can deliver fighters, I'll grant your release.
Foreigners trained to fight.
So it looks like he was Michael Biehn to recruit him fighters and then help him. So he
That's
gets
exactly what you asked for.
Place your back on the table.
Jamal! Hands up over your head! Hey! Met! You being met! Hang on a second.
Ain't gonna take that. It's all like Donkey Kong.
You are being
Did you know it's from a producer of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Drugs. You're in a death factory.
And a Hateful Eight.
Unless you figure out
Halloween
how to
Resurrection.
survive, you won't.
Careful, mate. I can smell fear.
Well, yeah, Leo Howard's a really good martial artist. Like, I'm excited to finally see him headline
You
the
have two
movie.
options. Fight
Like,
for your
you know,
freedom
besides kicking it.
or rot in this cell.
And Katie, you know, he's no slouch either, people. He's got skills.
Who's getting excited?
You got this. Hi.
There you go. The last trailer for the evening on digital August 27th. I will be there with bells on. So I'm excited. Like I said, I need more action in my life. Yeah, I do. I just do. I need more action in my life. I'm sorry. It's because, you know, it's like besides work and hanging out with my daughters, I mean, the action films are what I got. So it's like I'm excited to see that all these cool movies are coming out, and I am super stoked to watch them and review them and probably get told that I'm wrong in my opinion, but that's okay. I don't really care anymore. I really don't. You know what other movie I'm excited about? I'm going to show the trailer again. I think I showed the trailer back when I did another. I blended the weekly intel and trailer talk together. But is Gunner with? I got to do another trailer talk. You know why? Because there's a lot of trailers that I want to check out. So yeah, so I did. Yeah, so yeah, here we go. Gunner with Chris's other. We all know Liam Hemsworth and Chris Hemsworth, but did you know there was a third? Yeah, there he is, Luke Hemsworth, who I must say is sporting a very Kurt Russell vibe in this. You know, like I said, you know, that's just what I got. I mean, I could be wrong. I usually am. But this movie looks freaking awesome, too. I mean, it looks high production values. The action looks great. You got Morgan Freeman in it, too. I mean, how wonderful is that? I mean, that man can be in a pornographic movie and elevated. I'm sorry, but he can't because he's Morgan effing Freeman. So, yeah. And again, the plot for this one's nothing new. So war veteran Colonel Lee Gunner, that's his name. Why can't I have a name like that? Mine's Jerva. His name's Lee Gunner. Takes his two sons on a camping trip with their Uncle John. And I did this already on another episode, but I don't care. I'm talking about it again because I'm excited about it. To reconnect with them after being at the battlefront for so long. The trip goes awry when John stumbles over a tripwire and sets off an explosion, alerting a gang of violent bikers in the midst of a massive drug operation. Don't you hate it when that happens? You want to go on a vacation and you run into a massive drug operation. Not anticipating Gunner's... Okay, can I just stop it right there? All right, bad guys. 411 for you. If you all know 411, it's what you used to dial like 911 to get information before the internet. Again, if you know that, you're old like I am. If you're going to kidnap children or wives or girlfriends cousins or sisters or brothers or moms and dads, if you're going to kidnap anybody, make sure, and I say this with stout conviction, make sure that someone in their family is not an ex-Spec Ops warrior. Because once again, these guys kidnap these kids, and Lee Gunner is legit. All right, so let's watch this again. So I want to watch this again just because, like I said, I love the trailer and it looks good. Let's watch. This is a bonus trailer.
I don't like surprises.
Then you won't like this one. There is a party crasher against us.
It's a goddamn Green Beret.
He's a Green Beret.
Booyah.
Like Delta Force Green Beret, maybe.
The Medal of Honor.
His name's Gunner. It's in his freaking name.
I'd like to take you guys camping tomorrow.
It sounds like Thomas Jane, doesn't he? Like when you said that, it sounds like Thomas Jane.
We're in the middle of a drug lab.
All right, so he's getting like a Thomas Jane.
Get out of here.
Trips the triple.
I have your boy. Do what I say, I will let them and you go.
So he's got to break into a prison to get Morgan Freeman out. And that's kind of cool because they're going to have some weird chemistry together. Because Morgan Freeman's a bad guy and he's a good guy. Luke Hemsworth.
Oh, you sure know how to make an infant.
Like, it's Morgan Freeman, for God's sake.
How you gonna do that?
Like, he's such a good actor.
Can't say I'm not intrigued.
Yeah, me too.
Your son took my voice. Cost of doing business.
Yeah, strip club. I kind of like the nerd. I mean,
you're planning to trade me for him. You're gonna hog that?
Like they're just having a chat. Dimitri Logothetis, who did the kickboxer movies with Alan Miki. But by the way, what's happening with Kickboxer Armageddon people? That actor is a bad guy.
They're gonna want to kill you. They can stand in a very long line.
Sounds like Thomas Shea. Look, the action looks like freaking balls out, man. I'm like, they spent money on this movie. I mean, not like Disney, but still.
It's a lot of killing for one man.
This is name's Lee Gunner. Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. I mean, it's in his name, everybody. It's in his name. Yeah, so that I just wanted to talk about that one again. That's August 16th. I've already pre-ordered it on my Fandango at home because I'm very excited to watch it as soon as it comes out. Or we'll hope. I probably won't get able to watch it right away because I'll have to work and then I'll have to watch it. So somebody will get a review out before I will. But you know what? I don't really care. I get my reviews out when I can. All right, so there you go. That is this episode of Trailer Talk, brought to you courtesy of the ACTION-FLIX podcast, brought to you courtesy of ACTIONFLIX.com. A lot of good movies coming out. You know, like we had the writers and actors strike. So, you know, things in the cinemas are, you know, we got Alien Romulus coming out next week. Borderlands comes out today and it's, oh my God, is it getting ripped apart? And again, I don't read reviews, but I heard that it has not been kind for this movie. I'm going to go see it this weekend because I got the Regal thing and it doesn't cost me any extra. So if I don't enjoy it, I'll be like, oh, okay. Because I've already seen Deadpool twice at the movies, you know, and so it's basically paid for itself. So yeah, so that came out and not getting good reviews, not at all. Oh boy, holy cow, ouch! It's got like a 0% Rotten Tomatoes right now, I think, which is never a good sign. So yeah, then Alien Romulus comes out. I'll have to wait to see that one because I'll have my daughter next week, and then of course The Crow, which I'm really intrigued to see that one because that movie's been dissed on, you know, since its conception, you know, and of course we all know it's been in development hell for years, and finally we're getting another Crow, and it's not a reboot, it's not a remake, and you know, Rupert Sanders wants you to know that, you know, his name's Eric, but not Draven. He just has, his name happens to be Eric. So they're not doing Brandon Lee's Crow. They're doing The Crow, there's a lot of graphic novels of The Crow. You could do so many things with so many people, you know, and it's like, oh, there's only one Crow. No, there's not. Do your research before you start bitching about things. All right. But yeah, so we do have some good movies coming on the cinema still, but we have a lot of good stuff coming to digital and home video and all that good stuff. All right. So before I go, yes, I just announced my latest contest from the fine people at Well Go USA. Alienoid, Return to the Future, which is the sequel to Alienoid. These movies are like, wow, it's like sci-fi, action, fantasy, all rolled into one with some pretty dang good visuals. And this one, I can't thank Well Go USA. They always take care of me and you because you guys get these, when you enter. So enter on the site with your name and full address, people. I need the full address. I need your street, your city, your state, and your zip codes because people send me like their name. I'm like, hey, that's great, but I don't know where you live. I don't know you personally. I'm sorry. What's your address? And I had one lady say, I don't give out my address. And I'm like, well, that's going to be a problem. I don't know how you want me to send it to you. Can you give me a P.O. box? Yeah, she didn't win anyways, but that was besides the point. But it struck me funny. She's like, I don't give my address. I'm like, well, why are you entering? So I just put that out. All right. So I'm going to do a weekly intel this weekend. It's just me, myself, and I. So I'm going to go see Borderlands. So we'll see how much it really does suck or if it does at all. I'll probably like it. I haven't played the video game. I'm not a gamer. So I go into these movies pretty much, aside from Mortal Kombat that I used to play at the arcade, I don't really play video games. So when I go to see these movies, I'm just looking at them from a movie-going perspective. And it looked like Guardians of the Galaxy is what it looks like. Obviously they're going for that vibe, because that's a successful franchise in the MCU. And so that's what it looks like to me. But it's got a great cast, and who knows? I'll probably like it. I'll be like, I like it. I'm sorry. And they'll be like, what are you talking about, John? This movie sucks. I'm like, okay, I get it. You don't like it. So, whatever. All right. So, I'm going to let y'all go now. So, that is this episode of the ACTION-FLIX podcast trailer talk. And I'm going to have to do another trailer talk because there's a lot of trailers that came out in the last couple weeks. I mean, I know to do trailer reactions, you want to do them when they first come out, but who cares? I'll do them whenever I can. Watch it or don't. It's like, if you want to see my opinions, then watch. If you don't want to see my opinions, then you know what to do. But these Rebel Ridge, Hounds of War, The Lockdown, and Art of Eight Limbs all look great. All look like a good time. They got violence, action, drama, excellent actors. So what's not to like? You've seen Deadpool and Wolverine 5 times already. So watch some of these movies now and support independent action cinema, preferably action cinema in general, any kind of cinema. All right. Till next time. So like I said, I have a lot of good things in the pipe, but I just have to get it planned. Like I said, for Anatomy of Action Design, I got to get the talents to be on the show, and that's a whole headache, especially if they're overseas because their time difference is way above mine. So it's hard because I have a couple individuals that I'm trying to get. One lives in France, and that's 7 hours ahead of me. So it's just hard to set up. So, but I'm trying my darndest to get them on the show, and they say yes. And then I'm like, great. And then I'm like, damn it, how am I going to do this? So until next time, remember, ACTION-FLIX.com. Let me throw it up there one more time. Hang on. Let me get back to my front page. So that way you can see how beautiful it is, because I'm a fan of my new website. Look, there you go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty, everybody? Yep. I like how it flashes and you get all the different articles and all that good stuff. Yeah, so I didn't do a spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine yet. I did the spoiler-free one, but all bets are off now. If you haven't seen the movie, I can't help you. Wesley Snipes is in it. He's Blade. Jennifer Garner's in it. Channing Tatum is Gambit. We all knew Daphne Keane as X-23 was in it, so what can I say? There you go. I spoiled a whole bunch of it for you. Spoiler alert. All right, so until next time, everybody, remember, this is your ultimate destination for your action fix. We do nothing but action, cinema, thrillers, sci-fi action, sci-fi horror, a blending, if you will, of all genres, but pretty much it's an action film site. So to the PR people that send me emails, send me emails for movies that I can use. I get comedies and romantic movies and dramas. I'm like, dude, it's ACTION-FLIX.com. Why are you sending me this? Because I'm not going to use it. I went to see my dad and mom in New Hampshire. Let me just tell you this story real quick. So my dad is very proud. My dad and mom are very proud of my website and what I've accomplished and everything. My dad is 84. He's a wonderful man, awesome father. Was a great, it still is a great father, but he's 84. All right, and if you're watching his dad, I'm sorry, but he was like, you should do all kinds of movies, like dramas and comedies. I'm like, Dad, it's an action film website. It's actionflix.com. I go, it's hard enough just to do action movies by myself. How am I going to do like every movie like that comes down the line? I'm like, I'll drown. It's like I'm just gonna stick with the action, okay? But it was a great thing, and God love him, and he's like, you should do more other types of movies. I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I'm just gonna do action movies. All right, so with that, everybody, I say good night from Panama City, Florida. It is roughly 8:09 where I'm at on Central Standard Time, and I don't know. Again, I got to figure out my schedule. I'm sorry. Like I said, there's a lot of people that do their shows on set days. That way, I'm trying. I am trying my hardest to get a set schedule, but it just doesn't work out, that way because of life. But I'm doing what I can when I can, and I'll do more this weekend, I promise, because like I said, I'm going to take advantage of being by myself, me, myself, and I, and my kitty Tug. If you heard him jumping on the bed when I was doing this, he's around. All right, so good night, everybody. Remember, treat others as you would want to be treated. Be nice until it's time to not be nice. And there you go. Just talk action movies and have fun. Go see Deadpool and Wolverine again, but watch these flicks too, and let's discuss. Until next time, have a great night. Goodbye, everybody.